Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. In this video today, I'm going to be talking a bit about trinkets, looking at trinket sims for Warlock in patch 11.1, both in single target and AOE based settings. Now, when it comes to actual Warlock sims for like tier sets and all that, they have not been implemented as far as I'm aware, but the trinkets mostly appear to have been implemented. So these are not going to be overall numbers like for tier sets and all that stuff, but trinket value you still can see for the most part. Some things might change a little bit based on like tier sets giving more value in certain areas or whatever, but we can get a pretty good idea as to what looks good heading into patch 11.1. Some good news about Theater of Pain, just in general, maybe not farming that, and things look pretty good in the raid. So there's all that. If you guys want any weak cores, add-ons, or profiles, or links to sims, all that up here, Discord, all up here, Discord, Twitch, website, all that down below for weak wars and all that stuff. Sims down below as well. And if you guys want access to the 11.1 Warlock PTR spreadsheet, it is indeed now live on Patreon for the tier 3 Felguard rank or higher for early access, but it does indeed go public regardless before the patch goes live. Now, let's get it rolling. Alrighty, so getting into the Sims here, like I said off the bat, I want to clarify, again, if you skipped the intro, which you shouldn't, but if you did, these overall numbers here, 1.874, 0.877, 0.810, these are not relevant to what we're talking about here. Tier sets are not implemented for Warlock yet. A lot of my gear is gear that I'm wearing on retail, Surukai necks, cloaks in the raid. So this won't influence Sims when it comes to looking at trinket Sims and all that. Trinkets, for the most part, are implemented. I think most of them are, maybe a couple aren't, but tier sets for Warlock and things are not. Do not look at this number here. What we're looking at is going to be the highest combinations of trinkets as far as value is concerned, what looks best for next tier, heading into all of that. And to be fair, tier sets may change things a tiny bit depending on what like the interactions effect and all that with trinkets, but probably not a whole lot. Should be okay. So we have 3 sims here: Demo, Destro, and F. We have a 5-minute sim, Patchwork, and we have some AOE sims here as well. So starting off with Destruction here, I also did sim Spymaster, Mythic eye level for those that are curious, the one I have on retail. So when it comes to Sims here, I'm going to go through the trinkets initially a little bit and then just sort of go faster the longer we get on here. I have Kazan. Get used to seeing this trinket because it's very good in basically every sim. Mastery. Your spells and abilities have a chance to empower the eye and grant you primary stat for up to 20 times, decaying rapidly upon leaving combat. While fully empowered, the eye instead deals fire damage to enemies or heals. So basically, it gains stacks of intellect, it has passive mastery. When it hits max stacks, it does damage. Pretty cool. It's an equipped trinket. Very, very strong. I will also say that when it comes to trinket sims here, if you're looking at raid or dungeon-based trinkets, they're all simmed at myth eye level here. Trinkets from like delves and I guess other things like world events, whatever you can get at hero level, are at hero level. Now, if you're looking at, let's say early on, like week 1 of the raid on heroic, you're probably gonna, well, you can do mythic week 1 as well, but like if you're trying to compare mythic or heroic raid trinkets and heroic dungeon trinkets, a hero track, to delve trinkets, the delve ones, other ones might be a little closer, but if you're looking at myth combinations and all that, it's what you want to see. So on top here for Destro, once again, we have Kazan with Moxie or Mugs' Moxie Jar, another equip-based trinket. Intellect, equip. Your spells ability have a chance to send you into a frenzy, granting you crit. That's for 15 seconds. While frenzied, each spell cast grants an additional 1,000 crit, but does not refresh the duration. I'm a little surprised to see this high. Some classes in the past have been able to take advantage of things like this. I think mages, arcane mages with like Barrage, have used this in the past to good success. Things that like will grant you stacks for spells whenever you do damage. Destro here, I don't think gains a lot from this. It might just be good in general. But typically you want to find like one equip and one unused trinket to pair with cooldowns and all that. Thankfully, if you go down a bit further here, that is the case. So second here, we have Kazan once again with a damage-based trinket. Gear Grinder, spare keys, baseline intellect, unused, launch a big bike, basically at your target, doing 2.5 million damage, 2-minute cooldown. Just a lot of damage, honestly. This thing does also do more damage in AoE. With a change in made 11.1, it'll do more damage split amongst targets in AoE, but this is Patchwork. So it's sort of like a niche kind of case. We'll see where it goes, but there's that. This is from the Gear Grinders in the raid. This is the first boss in the raid. This is from Chrome King Gallywix, last boss in the raid. This is from Mugsy, which is the second to last boss, penultimate in the raid. Third combination here, I have Kazan and Suspicious Energy Drink. I believe this is from a Delve. I can't find where it's from. I think it's a Delve. Intellect, Equip Trinket. It procs and grants you mastery and more mastery if you're below a certain health threshold. Likely a little overstated, possibly. Not really sure as to why, but we'll see where it goes. It could just be a stat thing for me as well with my gearing and all that. But what I want to get into here is Signet of the Priory. My current gear for this sim, the one I'm wearing in game, is actually I have Kazan in House of Cards. To show you, I don't think I have it on right now, but I do actually. House of Cards is this. Intellect Trinket, a minute and a half cooldown, deal yourself in, granting 8,300 to 10,300 mastery for 15 seconds and stacking the deck. Stacking the deck increases the minimum mastery on future hands, so future uses of this trinket by 310 until you leave combat. So basically, the more often you use it in combat, the higher baseline mastery you're going to grant yourself for each use. So current gear in The Sims is this. I have Kazan and House of Cards, just to clarify. Now, when it comes to like the highest like equip on use stat trinket combination, House of Cards and I have Kazan are right here. A bit higher though. I have Kazan and Signet of the Priory. This is a very interesting trinket. It is from Priory, whatever it's called, the dungeon, Priory. On use, raise your Signet, basically giving you 7755 of your highest secondary stat. Now, your act inspires nearby Signet bearers within your party. Whenever you pop the trinket, you're granting them 204 of the same stat for 20 seconds. Now, there's no way to sim this currently saying, hey, I'm in a Signet party. Popping your Signet will not grant you, I don't believe it grants you 200 stats as well. It's people in your party, right? But just even having his trinket on in the first place sort of enables like, okay, if it's a party of 5, we're all wearing Signets, if they pop the trinket, maybe at the same time I do roughly, we'll get more stats from that. This is just looking at what this trinket does on its own as far as giving you stats. Honestly, it looks pretty good. At Myth I level, it's one of our best combinations, barring 2 end boss trinkets or one that's a bit, interesting to see where this goes. It looks really strong. Right below it is I have Kazan, House of Cards. And you have things like the candle from Dark Flame Cleft, which is, once again, just weird stuff, versatility, all that. I have Kazan. I have Kazan. I have Kazan. The further you go, you have like Candle Confidant, you have Entropic Garden Core. You get all the way down here, which is not too far to be fair. And there's your I have Kazan Soul Letting Ruby combination. So if you're looking at, oh, I got to farm theater a bunch, this and that, you might not have to. And I was a little curious if this would be the case for patch 11.1 because I believe Ruby was nerfed a little bit crit-wise towards the end of Shadowlands. And it stayed that way, I'm pretty sure. At the same time, when you pop Ruby on higher health targets, you don't get the max 10,398 crit. You get less than that because it's a higher health target. And at the same time, Ruby's effect lasts 16 seconds. Priory lasts 20. So, I mean, as far as ordering it goes, you're probably looking at like Priory Trinket, House of Cards. House of Cards is also from, I believe it's from One Arm Bandit in the raid, just to double check here. I believe it is One Arm Bandit. It is House of Cards. So there you go. So you're looking at like probably Priory Trinket, Signet, House of Cards, and then Ruby being like your third best option for on-use trinkets. Now, the interesting thing about that is Ruby and Signet of the Priory, you can farm infinitely from dungeons, from Priory, from theater. But if you're looking at these dungeons, loot distribution wise, here's Priory for Warlocks. There's 5 options, and Signet's one of them. You have a 1 in 5 chance of pulling Signet from just running Priory. There's 2 items, 1 item, and 2 items from 3 bosses. Looking at theater, you've got a nice 5 bosses here and a plethora of items you can loot that you don't want, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have more than double the items you have in Priory. So, and also, twice the amount of bosses almost, right? 35-minute dungeon versus probably 15, 20, depending how fast this is at some point, what you're running. So if you like theater, hey, well, it's back. You can run it. But if you don't want to farm theater infinitely, like we did in Shadowlands, good news. You're probably looking at running Priory currently if things do indeed stay the same. Besides that, you got other trinkets here. Funhouse Lens, I believe, probably a delve option. I'm not sure where it's from exactly. It gives you crit, reverb radio from Rift Reverb in the raid. Other things here like Garbage Master's Last Resort. I don't know where these are all even from. I will say, though, Spy Master. Sim this. Here's a Mythic Spy Master with Eye of Kazan. 27,000 DPS less and the highest simming combination. So Spy Master will be good early on in progression, or early on, right? But as far as things go, like later on in the tier, not looking exceptionally strong. Moving on to Demonology here, going to speed it up a little bit. To a similar extent, I am current gear, highest combination, sim-wise, is actually Eye of Kazan and House of Cards. Destro was Eye of Kazan, Moxie's Mugsy Jar. House of Cards not being too far off. Once again, Demo, highest combination, Eye of Kazan, House of Cards. Other combinations, Signet the Priory, right here, second or third highest combination, right there, Signet, Eye of Kazan, Eye of Kazan. You have Mugsy's Jar right here, Eye of Kazan, Wax Candle, Eye of Kazan, Funhouse Lens, there's the bike. You go down further, there's Ruby, about 17k behind with Eye of Kazan. Moving on to Affliction here, a similar trend. Eye of Kazan and House of Cards, but also very close. Technically, this is a little higher with Eye of Kazan and Mug's Moxie Jar, but having the ability to pair an on-use trinket with a cooldown, like with Infernal or Dark Lair or Tyrant, especially when you want that strong damage profile at a certain point in the fight, is quite often worth more than a 300 DPS gain, which there's some variance in these sims too, right? A 900 DPS margin of error. If there's a fight where I want to have an impactful cooldown like Tyrant or Dark Lair or Infernal at a certain point, I typically lean towards playing the equipped trinket, or sorry, the on-use trinket, like House of Cards, whatever, that lines up with it. The house was changed to a 1.5-minute cooldown. It was 2 for a while. It's still pretty good. They might change stats on it. I don't know. But either way, being able to pair an on-use trinket with another CD, giving it more power at an important progression point, just in general, is pretty strong. I would play this combination over this in, single target and all that. But besides that, basically it's Eye of Kazan, House of Cards. Third highest combination here, Eye of Kazan, Signet once again. Something's in my eye, it's okay. Eye of Kazan, there's the bike again. Eye of Kazan, Spy Master for Affliction sitting here, about 10k DPS behind. That's a little scary. I did notice that in early sims here. We'll see where that goes. They probably hit Spy Master anyways, being real, because it is a little sketchy being as good as it is in certain points, but also it takes a while to amp up stacks over a longer fight, and we'll see what Blizz wants to do. And the further you go, you have things like Energy Drink, Turbo Drain 5000. Holy moly, that sounds exciting. Carb, Blazicon Wax, Ruby right here, 16k DPS loss. So, I mean, honestly, the trend is pretty similar here. It's Eye of Kazan and House of Cards from the raid, and if you can pull like besides that, I mean, like Eye of Kazan, Signet of the Priory. If you look down further here, there are some combinations as well, like playing Signet with like Moxie Jar, whatever it's called, obviously. And there's other ones also playing House of Cards, double on use. But in early progress, and early like day 1, day 2 of the patch things, you can pull a Signet. You probably won't have an Eye of Kazan, but you can farm Signet, of the Priory infinitely. You can farm Ruby as well infinitely. With 5 bosses and 11 items on the loot table, it being worse than Signet, I'm spending my time in Priory. I'm going into Priory of Sacred Flame, farming that up. As long as it stays the same, I'm going from there. Shifting gears here, getting into AOE stuff. Once again, these numbers are not really relevant here. Tier sets and things are not implemented. Don't worry about it. We simmed 8 boss targets for a 1.5 here. These builds also talent-wise are what I had from retail. They might not be fully the best for PTR stuff right now. It's fine. Once again, it's a single target. To AoE, I simmed Affliction as Hellcaller. The highest combination I've seen is Mug's Moxie Jar and House of Cards. Now you also have Energy Drink here and House of Cards. 1 equip, 1 on use. You've got equip on use. On a wires too like this. Actually have no idea, but there you go. Signet of the Priory. Once again, still pretty good as that on use trinket paired with Energy Drink. You've got House of Cards, paired with Signet here, double on use. Not a huge fan of that, but I mean, is what it is. I have Kazan not as high in these sims comparatively to others, but not terrible either. I mean, there's an iSim here, 80k DPS loss, but to be fair, 80k of a DPS loss, 47k here. I believe the highest pairing right about there. 47k, 50k, whatever. DPS loss in a 9 million DPS sim is not as much as it may seem, but the point that drive home here, House of Cards, pretty good. Signet of the Priory, pretty good. Other things as well, once again, I mean, you've got Ruby about here with Energy Drink about, you're looking at, what are we looking at here? 50-ish K loss DPS wise. Yeah, right around there, give or take. I don't know where this is from, energy drink. If I dug more, I could probably find it. I thought it was a delve. I don't actually know. And on a Wowhead, it shows other trinkets here, but it doesn't show where it's from. And it says there's no comments on it either. A death-defying concoction made with Mama's secret recipe to numb your sense of self-preservation. I don't know where this is from. I don't know. If somebody knows, let me know down below in the comment section, please. This is not a bait for engagement. Well, I'll take it. It might be the new set of delve trinkets this time around, but I don't know. If there's new delves in the new zone, it would make sense, but not really sure. If it's that good, it'll probably nerf anyways, but there's that. Moving on to demonology here. 8 targets, minute and a half sim. Oxy Jar, House of Cards. You have Carb, Blaze of Complex, higher. Probably just a stat thing for me, based on my own gear. House of Cards, House of Cards, House of Cards, House of Cards, Energy Drink, House of Cards, Signal of the Priory. Also, once again, pretty high here. Pretty solid on use trinket. You can go down more and find other combinations. Funhouse Lens, cards, double on use here, Entropic or Scarred and Core. Ruby's about here with House of Cards. The highest Ruby, like, equip on use pairing is here at roughly a, I don't know, 140k DPS loss, essentially, right? So, Priory is looking pretty good. Cool trinket as well, looking pretty solid, and hopefully it holds up. Last thing here, Destro Hellcaller, playing. I should have played a Shadowburn build here. Doesn't really matter either way, actually. I just copy and pasted from some build they had out there, but point being, Signet, Bugsy's Moxie Jar. A couple other things here. Funhouse Lens is pretty high for this, actually. Could just be a stat thing based on my own gearing. Not really sure. Minute and a half cooldown. You've got Mugsy and Energy Drink. Ruby a bit higher here as well. But Signal of the Priory is on top, actually beating out House of Cards by a little bit, but House of Cards still being pretty good. So, I mean, the TLDR about this is like House of Cards and I have Kazan for raiding and things. Those exist in the raid. House of Cards is from, where's it from? Yeah, One Arm Bandit. I have Kazan as from Gallywix. You even have Mugsy's Moxie Jar from Mugsy, right? Now, I have Kazan, looks to be very good in raiding. Obviously, it has that single target proc on it, does damage when you hit max stacks. Compared to like Mythic Plus stuff, not as strong as Mugsy's Moxie Jug, which looks to be pretty good if you're looking at Sims here, being M plus based and all that. Here's rating as well. Looks to be pretty solid in both scenarios, depending what you're looking at, right? Moxie Jar pretty high for a handful of specs here. I think the thing to drive home here as well, though, is that Signal of the Priory looks to be pretty solid. Intellect, on use, 2-minute cooldown, 20-second duration, gives you your highest stat. You can also inspire other people around you, which is not even being accounted for in this sim, albeit 204 stat isn't huge, but you're still granting them more value, right? This trinket looks pretty good. So keep an eye out for this. If you're a huge Theater of Pain fan for farming all that, probably don't need to. But if you don't want to farm Theater, well, good news. Right, farm Priory the Ticker Flame, whatever it's called. So, also Gear Grinder's spare keys. The first boss actually in the raid. I'll just show you what it does really fast here. I think I have it on me somewhere. It does like, let's see, it does like 2.5 million, I think, in single target. But they made this change in patch 11.1, where if it's a trinket like this and it splits damage, it does more damage, and then splits it. Now, it might work here, it might not. Apparently, it's broken in testing sometimes, but either way, it's pretty sick. It launches basically some big old like bee that flies out of your character, or a bike, and explodes. It did a lot in testing, so I'm not surprised it's simming super high. But let's see if we can do this here. See if we can fire it up. Bike. Launch. Yeah, did a solid lot of damage. So we'll see where it goes. Looks pretty good, both in single target and AOE, but a lot of good options out there for patch 11.1. So if you're looking at trinkets and all that stuff, hopefully this video helped clarify. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up, and hopefully it helped clarify a little bit on the state of trinkets and things heading into, I guess, the later part of 11.1 PTR. We have raid testing this Wednesday, so a couple days from now. Again, a couple bosses that are buggy and stuff. One good Destro boss, well, one good Hellcaller boss, and one sort of gimmicky boss, but they're both pretty cool. If there are changes to trinkets and things, which there likely will be, this very well might change. If there are, I'll make videos talking about it, all stuff too. And once again, I want to drive home, this is not, like, these Sims here are not with working tier sets or overall numbers, whatever. Half the gear I'm wearing is gear from 11.0. We're looking at trinkets in this video. So hopefully, help clarify a little bit. If you guys want any WeakWars add-ons or profiles, links to Twitch, Discord, Twitter, all that up here, as well as down below the website, all that, we can get it for free. At the same time, a massive shout out to my supporters on Patreon. Like always, thank you all a million times. Thank you all so much for all support. Let's me keep doing what I'm doing for y'all, making videos and everything, and I greatly appreciate all support y'all have shown. Thank you. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, also link up here, as well as down below. And once again, the 11.1 Warlock PTR spreadsheet is also live on Patreon if you want early access to that for the tier 3 Felgar rank or higher, but it does go public regardless before the patch launches. I'm guessing the patch is coming out sometime at the end of this month. We are in February. My guess is the 25th. It could be the 18th. I think time-wise ends the 25th. It could even be like March, honestly. I think the realistic date is probably the 25th of February, with the raid coming out on March 3rd or 4th. It sort of makes sense with how things are lining up and all that. And some things on PTR are in a good state. Some aren't. Hey, we'll find out where it's all going to go pretty soon. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.